Hi, welcome to the Marketing Podcast. I'm Heather Watson.
And I'm Brendan Quigley.
How you doing, Brendan?
Excellent. I just discovered something.
What?
It's totally old news for anyone who's paying attention, but I just realized I can now control my Chromecast from Google Assistant on my phone.
I don't even know what any of that means.
Okay, so picture this. I'm at home and I say, okay, Google, play the Magic School Bus on the big screen.
Okay, that raises a whole bunch of other questions in your judgment, but okay.
And up comes the Magic School Bus. I'm going to be, okay, Google, pause. And then it pauses. And then, okay, Google, and then it plays.
How many phones did we just set off by you saying that?
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Blame Brendan.
Maybe I could beep it. Like beep the
thing?
Beep the,
we just need to codename
Google's.
Google, Alexa, and Siri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Magic School Bus is playing, make sure it's not playing. Well, the new one's pretty good, but it should be playing the old one.
Why are you watching Magic School Bus?
My daughter loves it.
Wow, so do you.
So basically what happened, here's what happened, is that the Pixel event happened a way long time ago, and they released the Google Home Mini. And so the voice assistant got a lot cheaper for the house, and so you can have one of these things next to your Chromecast, which is connected. It's one of these connected devices, and you've been able to tell Google Home to play things on your Chromecast connected to your television or your Chromecast connected to your speakers for a while now. And what they did is they just moved it a little further and allowed the voice assistant on your phone to control your television. Now, I literally have to be on my Wi-Fi for that to work, so I can't just tell my phone to play Magic School Bus at home right now. But it's got me at least really excited about the connected home. Now I'm afraid to buy anything that doesn't link with my phone.
It's funny because I use Siri a lot in my day-to-day, and just last week I had the kettle boiling and I was running around the house doing this, that, and the other thing. Is I was doing the, hey, telephone, tell me what time it is, and launch this, and open this, and I was doing that, and at one point my kettle was stuck on. It was boiling, it didn't shut itself off, and there was this nanosecond where I wanted to do, hey, turn off my kettle, and it was shoot, I can't do that because my kettle isn't that advanced, but boy, would that be handy, because I was in the other room. And
note to self, buy connected kettle for Heather.
That's right, there's my Christmas present.
Do you find your phone polite?
Sometimes Siri and I get into pretty rousing arguments, actually.
That might be the anger setting you've got turned way.
Maybe.
So here's an article from the Mobile Marketer where it says that chatbots that mind their manners show better engagement.
Okay.
I feel like this makes sense, right?
Well, I mean, when people mind their manners, I'm better engaged.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. And
sure.
Chatbots are trying to emulate all things human.
So let's talk a little bit about chatbots before we dig into this piece. What is a chatbot?
Hate them. What would be the most obvious example of a chatbot? I'm trying to think. Maybe video games. But basically, you would ask a robot or a program a question, and it's going to give you an answer. And they vary on how intelligent they are. The more intelligent ones are using AI and machine learning to give you smart answers, where the less intelligent ones are just
regurgitating information.
Yeah, it's we saw that you mentioned the word help. Would you like to read our FAQ?
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right.
And so with AI and machine learning, chatbots have started to become more popular. And there's all sorts of chatbot platforms that let you create chatbots for different services. And so we probably all heard of the Twitter chatbots that you can tweet at and they'll tweet back to you.
I think the biggest one that made news within the last year, maybe a little more, was the Obama bot. There was an Obama.
I did not know about Obama bot.
It's a fun one to say too, just Obama bot. But it launched on Obama's Facebook page, and you could ask Obama all kinds of, air quotes, Obama, the Obama bot, all kinds of questions, and the Obama bot would reply.
Huh.
Yeah. So I think that's probably, and they would have uploaded all kinds of things. I never got a chance to really play with it.
Yeah.
But I heard some fun reviews, and the questions that people were asking Obama about were interesting too.
Yeah. So in many ways, Siri, Google Assistant, Alexa, Cortana, Bixby. Did I miss anybody?
I even forgot about Cortana.
There you go.
Oh yeah, Cortana.
So
on my computer.
They are bots. They are getting smarter and smarter, and they are starting to answer our questions better and better. And so a chatbot would literally be more of a focused. It wouldn't be able to go search Google for you, but if you're responding or speaking with a chatbot, say on a website, it would be giving you custom tailored information.
Right. I just had a conversation with somebody recently too about the Messenger, and we talked about this in a previous episode as well, where more and more people are turning to Messenger to ask businesses questions about, are you open today, or what are your hours? What's the price of admission? Do you take returns? Like whatever that is.
Yep.
And those kinds of things you can programmatically, to a degree, already put into Facebook through Messenger, kind of more generic stuff like that anybody can do. If you have a Facebook page, you can go into the Messenger settings now and turn on the, hey, thanks, Brendan, for your question.
Right.
We're open from this hour to this hour. We'll get back to you when we reopen.
I that's a really good point. Like, I think it's important that you don't try to pass a bot off as a person, because that always ends up perfect.
And it's funny, this piece talks about that, where chatbots have been criticized for being clunky and rife with inappropriate responses, which I think we've all experienced if you've dealt with bots at all. Every now and then they just kind of throw out these random answers, and you're like, that's not quite what I was
but I think it's a really good option for that exact scenario. It's after business hours. You're going to give them some basic information and get back to them in the morning.
Or in the case of an emergency, call this number, or what depends on the business that you're in. But at least it's giving people that. And I mean, I know this sounds so silly because people are kind of so caught up in those vanity metrics about how many followers they have and how many likes. And one of those Facebook metrics that they teach us, they're programming us to want to know, is our response rate. And I'm sure you're seeing this when you surf Facebook. It's like, this business has a 98% response rate. So one way to get your response rate up high is by using one of those auto responders, because at the second somebody asks you a question, that person is getting that automated response. So and be polite, really, whether you're a bot or not.
This is it, eh?
I think that should be our episode title.
Yeah.
Whether you're a bot or not, be polite. What's next?
So, holiday shoppers.
Attention, shoppers.
Yeah, holiday shoppers. So this is coming from Market Wired, and basically, this is the wrong article. But basically, the right article is saying that holiday shoppers are slow to embrace chatbots.
Right.
So people still, and this goes back to the point that I was talking about before. Like, you shouldn't be trying to pass your bot off as a person, because I think a lot of people, especially in today, where like the direct private message marketing is becoming the social currency. Think of Snapchat, think of Instagram stories, that kind of thing. People want a connection with a human being, especially if they're buying something from you.
Right.
And so I think this idea that holiday shoppers are going to use these bots and it's going to help holiday shopping, and we're going to be able to use them to answer everybody's questions about our products, et cetera, and save money, is being shown to be not true.
So this was a study that was put out by IFFT, which is If That Then This, which is an automation helper. Now, we've talked about the role that automation plays in your marketing efforts, and to a degree you want to automate, but to a degree you don't want to automate, because people really want to do business with people, not robots, generally. Yeah. And that's basically what this article is confirming, is that their study, IFFT's study, revealed that 83% of consumers don't want a robot shopping for them, but they would trust a delivery robot. So there's some jobs we're okay with putting off onto robots. Like, I trust the robot to get my address right, but I don't trust them to get the color, size, item correct.
Interesting.
Right?
For the record, I am okay with all of this.
You're okay with all of this. 68% of consumers have never used a retail chatbot. So
I would say that 68% of users don't think they've ever used a retail chatbot.
Fair. Yeah. They don't necessarily know what they are, which is 23%. That was one of the numbers that came out. Other studies have shown that chatbot acceptance is slow, but it is increasing, and we're seeing a little bit more of that, and people are more comfortable with it, particularly as like I said earlier, Facebook Pages is kind of doing those little bot pieces for people, and we're seeing it's easier to integrate. I feel like that's the natural progression for new technology. Like what we're seeing now with, say, like the headphone jacks being just ousted from our phones. Mm-hmm. That's not normal, right? Like that's a couple big players making a decision, and bam. I think technology does do this natural growth. It's never all of a sudden thing. Look, I remember the very first time I went to a wedding. 20 years ago, and I saw somebody using a digital camera, like a point and shoot.
Yeah.
And it was obscure to me to see somebody holding a camera away from their face to take a picture.
Right. Yep.
And fast forward to about a year ago, I have a DSLR where you put the camera up to your face to take a picture, and I handed it to somebody who offered to take the picture, and they were trying to look through the screen as opposed to look through the eyepiece, and they couldn't understand how it worked.
How do I get the screen to turn on?
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's been the evolution of 20 years where we've adapted to things, and we're still on the early stages of bots, and they're going to become more widely used. The other interesting thing that I thought of this is, like you said earlier, I don't think people think of Alexa or Siri as being bots. And 36% of respondents said that they would rather shop through a VA, like a virtual assistant, like Alexa or Siri, instead of in a mall. So
virtually the same thing, people.
Yeah. If I said, hey, whoever, open Amazon and order me a blah, 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 I'm more comfortable than doing that than going to Amazon and letting Amazon's robots shop for me.
Interesting.
Yeah. And just kind of on a side note, 36% of shoppers use subscription services. So what this whole trend is us trying to get our time back, right? I really think this is like, if we're using bots, it's freeing us up from doing the mundane, the routine kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I am a subscription shopper from some of my kind of regular items. I don't need to have to worry about going and shopping that I know, once a month I'm going to need coffee and detergent and chips and all those kinds of things, and I have them shipped to my house and I don't even have to think about it, much less step foot in the store, right?
See, that last bit, that's the money right there.
Stepping foot in the store.
Don't need to step foot in the store.
Depends on the store. This one in particular, I'd rather not step in, but I do like their products, so it's great to have them shipped automatically. And if I can, that was great because they set up their cart that way. But if there are other things, just those one-off things that I ask Siri to go and order for me and it's done, glory. I would love that. So kind of an interesting trend, for businesses. Do you hook into bots at this point in time? Do the minimum stuff, like go with the adaptation that Facebook is offering.
Yeah.
Try and check out some bots for those FAQs that people are connecting with you on to automate a little bit, but don't lose that human touch because that's so important.
Oh, exactly. And look, you can look at your own data. Like, look at the questions that people are asking you, that you send one email and then they say thanks. And those are the opportunities where you could automate through a bot. And it doesn't have to be AI. Like, it doesn't have to be this smart robot that's going to take over your business someday.
Right. It could be a duck.
It could be a duck.
It could be a duck. Our next story is just that. Aflac Insurance, down in the States, has deployed one of these really smart bots that's using AI, and their mascot is the duck, and they've basically turned their chatbot. They've given their mascot the chatbot voice, and so this is an article that's showing up. It was a media release actually that Aflac put out on the Newswire, and it's such a fun. Like, okay, I need to back up. It's called Duck Chat. Like they have branded this through and through, and they're not making any bones about that it is a robot.
Yeah, right.
And on top of that, they have done a television campaign to say, like, message us with your questions any hour of the day, and our duck will answer your questions. So it's a fun commercial. The commercial shows, the duck late night in a cubicle replying to somebody, and then somebody at home laying in bed asking the question, like, oh, what would insurance be for this? And the duck is like madly, wings are flailing while it's typing away at the computer with the headset on, like so cool, right? So it's using that smart technology to really, and of course, the more it engages with people, the smarter it gets because it's got that machine learning component to it. And it's all through Facebook messaging. So I'm not saying somebody should go out and build a bot tomorrow to handle all their, the Papa Johns that we always talk about, like those, those businesses that maybe not make sense for, but here's a really cool application of it and a way of promoting it. They, like I say, they make no bones about it that it's a bot.
Which I think is really important.
And they're playing up their mascot. They are, there's so much talk around the feels that we get from brands. And this, I don't know anything about Aflac, but when I see the ad and I see the duck, it's like, I want to hang out with the duck. I think that's a really cool duck.
I'm going to message him right now.
Are you going to message him right now?
I'm going to tell him we're doing a podcast about him.
That would be fun. See what the duck has to say.
There we go. We're doing a podcast about you.
It's adorable. I just want to take it home and make him my pet.
Just wanted to let you know.
And this is more than a publicity stunt for them. This is like part of their operations. What does the duck say?
The duck said, well, he sent me a picture of himself off the get-go. So he just gets, a video. He just gets this world.
Does he have a selfie stick?
No, but he's got coffee.
Okay.
And then he says, go ahead, AMA. Ask me anything.
Oh.
There you go. And then I told him we're doing a podcast about him. And I just wanted to let him know. And he said, sorry, I didn't quite understand that. Can I help you with something else? And gave me a bunch of other options.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so it's a good example, really. It doesn't have to be super sophisticated, but I'm sure if I was looking for the insurance that I could find some information.
Yeah. So it's a really neat use. I like it. Not so neat. I don't know if you heard about this one. There is a citizen robot in our world. I am dying. I don't want this to happen ever. Inc. and many other sources on the internet have reported that the first, quote, robot citizen in the world once said she wants to destroy humans. I can't believe that's the headline. Way to warm us up to robots, friends.
Yeah.
And she took a shot at Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Even better. So let me back this up a little bit. Where are my notes on this more specifically? Here we go. So Saudi Arabia has granted citizenship to a robot. We've named her Sophia, or Sophia, depends on what part of the world you live in, or what street you live on in our hometown. So Sophia is the first robot citizen, and she spoke at a panel, AI for Good. She was interviewed by journalist Andrew Ross Sorkin, and he asked her questions pertaining mostly to her human status and concerns about a robot-run world. He told Sophia that we all want to prevent a bad future, prompting Sophia to rib Sorkin for his fatalism. And that's when she takes a dig at Elon, and don't worry, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Treat me as a smart input-output system.
I think it's just creepy because she has a face.
With really bad facial expressions.
Yeah. And so when she's talking, she'll smile after she says something. So she's like, treat me as a good input-output system. Big creepy smile.
Yeah.
And done.
Yeah. Insert smile here. We'll link to the video in the show notes. The whole interview is there. I think it's like a 5-minute interview at themarketingpodcast.ca. You must watch it. And she's hairless. And I think the fact that she's hairless is just to show off the brain, quote unquote, that the internal workings, where this was a marketing ploy. They were looking for investors. She even kind of did and I'm looking for investors. Wink, and it was like, oh.
So my question goes to how much of this is just programmed, right?
Well,
like I get the AI bit, and I've seen like really advanced bots be able to parse voice and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, did they program the wink and the I'm looking for investors, or was that something that came out of her machine learning?
They say that they didn't, and it totally came out of her machine learning. I mean, now I'm not at all an expert on machine learning, but I've been having some really great conversations with smart people around AI and machine learning, and sometimes you can actually teach the machine to memorize and replicate itself or the scenario. So it's not really
to do what
learning.
you want,
right?
Like you would with a child.
But it like learns it. It learns the desired outcome, right? So if in AI, if you're trying to, often they're trying to perform graphs, and get it to spike up and go down, and that's what you're trying to make it do. Well, you're not actually teaching it to do the mathematical equation to go up and go down. You're just basically teaching it to make the line.
As
opposed, so then when you try it in a different way, it doesn't work. It fails because you didn't teach it to learn. You just taught it to copy itself.
Yeah, right.
Kind of thing.
Yep.
So, and I can't believe I just regurgitated all of that from a conversation. I felt like I'm suddenly knowing more about AI, and that scares me. So this whole bot thing, I mean, is one thing. Also, the fact that she's been given citizenship. Like, actually, she is a citizen. And the fact that she's a woman. Why did they decide to create... And the feminist in me says, power on, sister. But the other part is it's like the men engineers are saying, we'll make her a woman. They'll trust her more.
Yeah, exactly.
and that scares me.
Maybe the engineers are all robots.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I still won't trust her with that awkward smile. But it's very interesting. It's a really interesting place that we're going in. And, you know, I said just earlier that I'd love to be able to tell my computer and to tell my phone to do things for me. If I turn around and that computer and phone have legs and arms and can, instead of, you know...
And they're making your bed?
Yeah. Hey, Siri, go turn off my kettle. And it's actually a person.
Yeah, right.
Like, at what point does it get a little too weird, right? I'd rather have a faceless robot in my phone than a...
Okay, I have one more surprise article for you.
Uh-oh.
And it's totally related. So I just found this recently here, and it's called rescam.org. So it's a company down in New Zealand, NetSafe, that created this bot. And what this bot does is it will respond to scammers and keep them chatting via email.
Right.
Keep asking questions to take up more of their time.
Right. Like an infinite loop of wasting
Exactly.
their time.
So, like, this one you've got to see. They've done some good marketing on this one as well. If you go to rescam.org, it'll walk you through the whole thing. But picture a really smart AI that can parse emails and then respond. And sometimes they respond with, like, typos and funny anecdotes just to make it seem like it's a real person, and the scammers never know. And what they're encouraging people to do is, if you get an email that you think is scam, forward it to the email me@rescam.org, and their bot will kick in and start responding to the person. And then they'll send you the conversation. They'll, like, parse out the conversation and send it back to you.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
That is absolutely awesome. You know what I think else that it's awesome for? The next time my mother-in-law sends me an email just asking me what I'm bringing for dinner.
You could totally do it. But now the only thing is it picks a persona kind of at random.
Right.
And it sort of
so if it starts going like yo yo yo.
Exactly. It could. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But they've got a whole bunch of examples on their website.
It's amazing. My mother-in-law, like, are you drunk?
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. Is probably what it would, you know what I mean?
She'd be like calling my husband, like, what is wrong with your wife?
Yeah,
I just want to know if she's bringing the potatoes.
But you totally could. Like, that's sort of what they've set it up. I haven't tried it yet. Like, I'm really tempted to try it. I would try it on real spam, not a friend. Maybe a coworker.
Oh, goodness.
But I think it's a really good example. Like, we went through, you know, bots for business, and we went through the scary robot person. But here's an example of, like, we're using bots for, you know, a good thing. And they say there's, like, billions of dollars lost every year to these email scams.
It's amazing.
So
it's amazing. And that's really cool. So we'll post a link on that as well, and people can check it out. And hopefully, it like it's legitimate, right? Like, that's when you first mentioned to me, I'm like, it's probably just some really great ad. But, like,
no, now it's in New Zealand. Like, I'm not sure if it would necessarily work here. Like, they might have some kind of
but I get all those Cambodian emails. Like,
yeah, I know, but I wonder if it's like it has to be New Zealand or something. But that's what they were saying. They were saying that, like, this spam is borderless, but the law enforcement isn't.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have to adapt.
We have to adapt. Well, this has been fun. I don't know if I'm ready fully to adapt to full-on robots, but mini bots in my world make my life happy. I'm okay with that.
Bring on the pizza bots.
Bring on the pizza bots. For the Marketing Podcast, I'm Heather Watson.
And I'm Brendan Quigley.
Thanks for listening.